So you've cleaned up your diet, you're managing your stress like a champ, but your gut is still acting up. It might not be what you're eating. It might be what you're breathing, you're wearing, or you're spritzing around the house. So from wildfires to your favorite scented candle, today I want to dive into the everyday environmental toxins that could be messing with your microbiome and what you can do to take back control. You're not going to want to miss this, so stay tuned. Hey friend, welcome to Gut Fix. Are you ready to finally get rid of those debilitating digestive symptoms? Do you catch yourself staying up late Googling things like, what can I eat? Or how do I stop a flare? Or maybe you're just lying awake wondering, how did this ever happen to me? I'm Wendy, and I've been exactly where you are, desperately searching for answers, but determined to find natural solutions. And like you, I was overwhelmed by all the conflicting information out there and unsure of what might really work for me. And so now in this podcast, I'm here to share with you what I've learned, how to listen to your body's signals, and uncover the common mistakes that might be standing in the way of your healing. So grab your favorite drink, pop in your earbuds, and let's dive into your health transformation together. Hey, and welcome back to another episode of Gut Fix. So have you ever felt like you're doing all the right things, but your gut just isn't getting the memo? Well, I've been there and done that. And it turns out that your symptoms might be triggered by something as innocent as your perfume, your soap, the tap water that you're drinking, or even showering in, or even your couch cushions. And so I want to share a little story with you. So back when I was selling real estate and dealing with my IBD, I rented an office space very close to my home, so it was super convenient. And it was great. It was right across the street from the beach. I had a nice little view of the ocean, and like I said, it was very close to my house. But I started to get flares, and it wasn't until I did kind of a deep dive into the building and found out that there was mold. And I was blaming everything on the food I was eating, right? And so I thought, I've just gone off course, and now I'm having a flare. And it turns out that it was really that mold, because once I moved out, the flare stopped immediately. And so So what are environmental toxins, and why should we even really care about them? Well, environmental toxins are the drama queens of the modern world. They're sneaky, they're loud, and they love to stir things up in your gut. And, they can be they're everywhere, right? They're just everywhere. They're in your air. So it could be pollution, wildfire smoke, could be the vapors coming from new paint in your home, or new furniture, new carpeting, things like that. It also can be coming from your water. So most city water has chlorine, fluoride, and even heavy metals. And if you're showering in it every day, you're getting it in your skin, you're ingesting it through your skin. And worse, if you're drinking it, you're also ingesting it that way. Also, your personal care items. So anything that you put on your body goes in your body. So think about your deodorants, your soaps, your lotions, your skincare. All of that needs to be fragrance-free, paraben-free, and phthalate-free. Because, like I said, what goes on your skin, your largest organ, is going to get into your system and can totally wreak havoc. Also, your food packaging. If you think about when you go to the grocery store, so much of our food is packaged in plastic. And plastics have been really making a big name for themselves lately with all the microplastics. But also you want to think about the BPAs. And so, we can't get away from them. There's no way to completely clear yourself of environmental toxins. But what you can do is limit and be aware of, right? And do what you can. And why does all of this matter? Well, because these toxins, they will trigger oxidative stress. They'll trigger inflammation, and they'll also trigger gut dysbiosis. And that's just kind of all sort of fancy talk for your gut lining is taking a hit. your immune system is freaking out, and your IBD and your IBS go haywire. Now, how do toxins affect and impact your gut health? Well, they increase your intestinal permeability. Hello, leaky gut, right? And they mess with your microbiome balance. So you tend to get too many of the bad guys, not enough of the good guys. Remember, we need them both. We just need a balance. They can flare autoimmunity, and they can worsen that IBD. They can even disrupt your hormones. Can you say hot flashes and bloating? Yep, that can all happen. That's typically from the phthalates and all of the parabens and things like that. And they don't just stay in your gut. So what happens is you end up with systemic inflammation that can then also affect not only your gut, but your brain, your skin, your joints, and even your energy levels. So think of your gut like your home. Toxins are like uninvited guests who leave their dirty shoes on the carpet, they clog up your sink, and they blast toxic music 24/7. So what are some of the signs that your gut could be reacting to environmental triggers? Well, your one clear-cut sign could be that your flares and your flare-ups are happening for no food-related cause. You're eating clean, you're keeping your stress at bay, and you're still having a flare. Also, you might notice some bloating, some fatigue, brain fog, skin rashes. Another common one that I tend to succumb to is sinus congestion. You might also notice that your sleep gets poor. You might have weird hormonal shifts like mood swings, hot flashes that maybe come completely out of nowhere. You might feel just off in places with very strong smells or someplace that's just been cleaned. You may just get that feeling of, golly, I just don't feel right. So if you walk into a store and the fragrance section makes you feel like you've been hit by a toxic tsunami, you're not crazy. You're sensitive, and your gut is calling you for some help. So what can you do to lower the toxin level? Well, let's take the air first of all. You can open some windows. You can get an air purifier. And whatever you do, ditch the scented candles and opt for essential oils. With your water, you want to filter your drinking water, but you also want to filter your shower water. And that's just as simple as putting a shower filter on. I personally like Mercola's shower filters. They're very easy to install. Change them every 6 months, and they're inexpensive. Next, you want to ditch those toxic cleaning products. So ditch the Febreze, swap out your cleaning products I personally like homemade cleaning products. I've started to make them myself using simply Castile soap, vinegar, and some essential oils. Those aren't even really necessary, but they're just kind of nice. Next, your food. You want to prioritize organic, especially when you're talking about the Dirty Dozen that can be found on the Environmental Working Group's website, EWG.org, or I also have a downloadable version on my website. But you want to make sure that if you're eating something on the Dirty Dozen, definitely get organic. They also have a Clean 15, which is, those don't really matter as much. And so both of those are downloadable. You also want to store your food and leftovers in glass, not plastic. And then your body care. Make sure that if you're, buying something at the store, you read the labels. If there's something in there that you can't pronounce or you wouldn't eat it, maybe you don't want to wear it, right? Because once again, what goes on your skin is going into your system. So, this isn't about perfection. It's not about letting a toxic mascara ruin your microbiome, right? It's more about doing the little things to clean up and eliminate some of those environmental toxins. Like I said, there's no way we're going to get away from all of them. It's impossible. You walk outside, you could live in a bubble, and the minute you walk outside, you're going to be exposed. But you can limit them as much as you can. And so, some people are definitely more affected by environmental toxins than others. Genetics plays a key role. Sluggish detox pathways play a role, and your current state of your gut or your current gut health. So we use those functional foundational labs that can reveal deeper patterns. They can reveal things like inflammation, or if your detox pathways just aren't working right. Also, we can detect if there's a suspected leaky gut, if there is a breakdown in your mucosal barrier. So, if you're, just kind of to recap, if your gut isn't getting any better and your food is on point and your stress is under control, it might be time to actually zoom out. And so you want to look at the whole picture. And if you want to look at your whole picture together, I do offer a free 30-minute discovery call so that we can chat about what might be triggering your symptoms and whether those hidden toxins could be a part of your story. So you can head on to the show notes and click the link below to grab your 30-minute discovery call, or you can head over to my website at wendyhandy.com and book it there. Once again, it's free, it's friendly, and I promise, no pressure. So if you found this helpful, which I hope you did, write me a review, send it to somebody that might get some value out of it. And until next time, stay happy and stay healthy. Hey friend, I hope today's episode brought you some real value. If it did, would you take just 30 seconds to share it with a friend who might be struggling to get her gut in check? And if you're feeling extra generous, leave me a review on Apple. It absolutely lights me up knowing that this podcast is making a difference for you. All right, it's time for me to grab my protein shake and get my gut happy. I'll see you back here next Tuesday for another episode of Gut Fix. And until then, stay happy and stay healthy.